Welcome to the Where's Home Show. We're excited to get this thing up running every Wednesday. It's been a long process, getting the studio ready, finding a co-host. Finally found one. But this thing's going to be up and running every Wednesday. We're going to have Game of the Weeks. We're going to have Player of the Games for each game and Player of the Weeks. And this episode will be a little different than the other ones. We'll be talking about transfers, people who transfer from other schools to new schools that played varsity last year. We had about 28 or 29 new transfers. Uh, we're going over some rankings. We're going over some new FHSAA rules. There's like 4 or 5 new rules, and then we're going to go over NIL. And we'll be joined in here with Brady Harris, 2026 Florida commit later on in this episode. Excited. I'm your host, Chandler Danzler. I'm joined in here with my buddy Gage Demby. He's going to be the co-host this upcoming spring. Why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Like you said, I'm Gage. I graduated 2023. As a sidearm pitcher, I played at Trinity throughout high school, and baseball wasn't for me in college. So going to school now at UNF, getting my bachelor's, and I'm gonna go to AA school, hopefully to be a anesthesiologist assistant. But excited to be here. Got some fun things going on.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, tell me something. You miss it?
Oh yeah, I miss it all the time.
What
I
part?
don't think I would have liked playing college ball because just like moving
It's
away.
more like a job.
Yeah, it wasn't like that, but like just high school, especially for me, I played with the same people from 6 years old to senior year of high school, so it was just something special.
Yeah, tell me about, high school. There's a lot of memories you can make in high school. There's the bus drives.
hmm
Each season, you got a rival game, things like that. What's your favorite part about the high school season, you think?
My favorite part would probably be those trips, yeah, especially the one to Vieira that we took. That was probably my
Yeah.
favorite trip, or just the trips to Alabama or Lagrange that we went on, the week-long trips.
Yeah, those are fun.
Those were the best ones,
Always.
yeah.
Um, the first part of the show, we're going to be going over some transfers. Like I said earlier, there's about 28 or 29. It's just going to be kind of rapid fire, going a little fast. And then we'll just start off. Me, Chandler Danzler, and Braden Harris from Trinity went over to St. John's. Jonas Wells from Providence to St. John's. We got Mason Jones from Yulee to St. John's. Mason Snell from Fleming to St. John's. And then we got Landis Pickett from Yulee to Providence. We got Preston Matricardi from Yulee to Providence, as well as Brody Kraft from Yulee to Providence. Luke Manderson and Grant Shepard from Bishop Snyder to Providence. They also had 9 seniors leave last year, so that's going to help them out a lot. We had Trip Hanna from Yulee to Bishop Snyder. Cole Dennis from Bishop Kenny to Bishop Snyder. Uh, Josh Murray from Fleming to Snyder, and as well as Tanner Upton from Fleming to Snyder. We're gonna go over a few more. Chris Reale from Fleming to Trinity. Zeke Ansley from First Coast to Bowles. Dominic Delaredo from Bowles to Episcopal. Dalton Tibbetts from Sandalwood to Atlantic Coast. That's all we're gonna go over right now. Like I said, there's 28 or 29. There's a lot this year.
Yeah.
Why do you think there was so many? Like, what's the reason to transfer in high school? Like, why would people do it?
I think a lot of people were just more concerned about playing time. I feel like when I was going to high school, it was more like you rarely see transfers,
Yeah.
especially to certain schools. But now, I mean, people are gonna go play at a school. They're gonna get play there for a year. If they're playing good enough, there's an opportunity or a position at a bigger school, better people, better coaches around. They're gonna hop ship and go.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for college, but there's a little bit of difference. Like, say you commit to a college, that first year you can get redshirt and still practice with that team. It's kind of different for high school because
Yeah.
you want to play college ball, so you want to have a spot on the team.
hmm
So I think that's more the reason why. And the reason why I transferred, I didn't think I had a spot on Trinity this year, so I thought I'd just move on to St. John's.
Yeah.
Uh, there's some more other reasons people transfer, but second part of the show, Gage is going to go over rankings. I won't be part of the rankings just because I am an active player in high school. Went to Trinity last year, now at St. John's. I don't want to cause any backlash or any drama with my former players or current players as of now. So this is Gage's top 5. He's going to be going over the top 5 and why he thinks they're the top 5.
Yeah, like Chandler just said, I'm gonna go into the rankings a little bit, give the preseason top five, and just a side note: these rankings are strictly based off what I see on paper. who's throwing the ball hard, where the guys committed, who can hit the ball far. So don't give a too hard of a look into these. No one's played any games yet. You don't really know if this is going to be the top 5 from the whole season or not. But coming at number 5, we have Creekside. Head coach Chris King always has a good group of guys out there. They always play the ball the right way. Um, Big thing to note out is their pitching is always pretty solid. They play great defense. It's hard to blow this team out. They're always going to be in the game. And two dudes I want to highlight is 2026 Matthew Bysham, right-handed pitcher, working up to 90 on the mound. He's got great movement and control on his stuff. And then lefty Flagler commit Nick Romeo is a nasty lefty that got on the mound. They got two dudes who can go out there and compete pretty well. So it's going to be fun watching them play ball all year. And then coming in at number 4, we have Providence. Now, Providence, like Chandler said earlier, loses 9 seniors, but they are getting a good amount of help of transfers for head coach Tommy Boss. Some guys I want to mention is Landis Pickett, elite pitcher up in the upper eights, and he can also swing the bat a little bit too. And it's a common theme with these Providence kids that are coming in. We got FSU commit Preston Matricardi, sitting upper eights, and also can swing it a little bit too. And then Iowa commit Luke Manderson, great add to the pitching staff. Another guy can hit. So they got 3 two-ways, which is very important in high school. You got guys who can go out there and throw and pitch. It's very helpful. And then also 2026 Grant Shepard, who's a elite catcher behind the plate. Moving into number 3, we have Bishop Snyder, head coach Zach Osbeck. They lose 2 seniors and 2 transfers that we just mentioned. The Cardinals still have left-handed pitcher, Tennessee commit, first baseman, Cody Boshell, and 2027 Tristan Silver, which was a big part of their offense last season. So they got these main pieces of a good team last year. And then Snyder also adds 2026 Trip Hanna, Oklahoma State commit. All around great player and a good pickup for the Cardinals. I see them being a team who can compete all year as well. And some team that can take it to the next level. And then number 2, we had the defending state champion, St. John Spartans. Head coach Tom Lucas. Another team that's always going to be good. They always compete very well. They lose 10 seniors and a good 6 or 7 of them that started last year. That's a good chunk of players that are needed roles to be filled. 2 dudes we mentioned earlier, Braden and Chandler coming in. Braden's a 2026 FSU commit, sits lower nines. A great 2-way player, swinging at the plate. He's pretty good defensively too. And then some players are there that we can mention: Preston Cole, Austin Stratman, T.J. Sunderhouse, Gabriel Gillen. And then coming at number 1, we have Trinity Christian, head coach Jonathan Murphy, who you could say this team is probably better than they were last year. They only lose 2 seniors. They got 2 guys coming in, and some top players there. We mentioned they got a plethora of Florida commits: Brady Harris, Ethan Wheeler, Tyler Ellis. They have Aaron Watson, Jordan Martinez, and Gage Petrus. Just some guys that are committed there. And then some dudes they've added: 2026 Chris Reale coming from Fleming. He's a good arm, can swing it at the plate too. Great defensively. 2026 infielder Parker Lau, LSU commit. He's a transfer from IMG, another elite guy in the infield, and a good addition to this Trinity lineup. And then 2025 Merrick Beamish, who was hurt last year. He's got an A+ slider, sitting upper eights, lower nines, and is a JUCO commit to Dyersburg State.
Yeah, Gage, that was pretty good top 5. When you were in high school, you guys were pretty good. The 4 years you were there, just what do the rankings mean to you? Was it talked in the locker room? Was it talked at practice? Was it talked between your coaches? Like, what was it? Did the rankings mean something to you?
Oh yeah. So actually, we used to rank ourselves on the team on the locker room. We did like a top 5 hitters and top 5 pitchers, like just like as the season's going on,
Yeah.
to give guys a little boost. But I mean, me personally, I never really cared about stuff. I'm kind of like was out of touch with all like the rankings world. I never really looked at it because like there was a point in baseball where I wasn't like I said, I didn't play in college, so I was like didn't really care to play that much. But I ended up falling in love with the game again. So like I was like never really cared what rankings said or anything. I just like being around my friends.
Really, the only ranking that matters is the max prep and FHSAA rankings,
Yeah.
because that's the one that determines your bracket, who you're gonna play, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, talking about FHSAA, we're gonna talk about the new rules that they added in this year. They started the baseball season up about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks earlier this season. The preseason starts February 3rd through the 8th, and then the season officially starts on the 10th. And the regular season last year usually ended in May, early May or very late April. This season is going to end on April 11th. Just another little rule that I saw. Uh, this is straight from the website. Pine tar cannot exceed beyond 18 inches from the base of the knob. Which, some players at Trinity, you're in the locker room that
Mhm.
1 year. Brady Harris, you saw his pine tar. It was all the way up, almost exaggerated at half the bat. It
Yeah.
wasn't half the bat, but they added that. I'm not sure the for sure reason, but I think it might be a good rule. Um, then we got the 3-game series and regionals. This has been the talk at practice. This has been the talk. On
Oh yeah.
Facebook, everywhere, every social media, people are talking about this. And even probably when you were in high school,
Oh
people were
yeah.
talking about this rule. They want this rule. Um, Even about 2 years ago, people were talking about how we should do this. Not even in regionals, just in all playoffs, and
Mhm.
maybe even a little bit in the season. How does that? How does it affect some teams?
Well, I think there's a good and a bad depending on the team specifically. So you have the one side of it, you have the teams coming out there that they do have the 3 or 4 Division 1 pitchers, and they're gonna want these 3-game series because they could come out lose the first game, but they know in the back of they got 2 guys, 3 guys that can throw lower nines. They're gonna come out there. They know they got a chance to play. And then you have these other schools that you could say the Cinderella runs or whatever, like you see in March
Yeah, yeah.
Madness, who they have maybe one guy playing college baseball again, and then they're gonna come out, they're gonna upset a team, and now they gotta come. They're not as deep, you could say. So it's a lot harder for them. My personal thoughts on it, I like the 3-game series. It kind of adds the playoff vibe. Imagine you go out there, you lose your first game, you still got another chance. So that's a good aspect to it. And I always wanted that as a player because of the times we lost. I felt like, oh, like this could have been our year. So something happens differently. We could have had another game. Like could have had
Yeah.
a big change. What do
Uh,
you think?
just to say, like, adding this 3-game series, adding the season up 2 weeks early, it's because there's going to be more games because of this regional tournament,
Hmm.
the 3-game series. Just like you see on the screen, there's going to be 2 games, 2 days, and then you have a break, and then there's going to be another game. In that break, it's not just the break. These teams are going to have practice. They're going to know who's going to pitch because just my opinion on it, like it's gonna show teams who they really are,
Hmm.
their mental toughness, their body language. I mean, you're gonna be tired on that third day.
Hmm.
I mean, you got those 2 games, then you got to practice, and then you're gonna play another game. Your body's gonna be tired. It's
Hmm.
kind of like travel ball,
Yeah.
like a Sunday on travel ball. You got 3 or 4 games to go to the championship. That's kind of how this is, but spread out into 3 days, into 4 days. Um,
Yeah. I really think that now the state champion is really going to be the best team. There's
yeah,
not going to be as many upsets. The best team uh, going into the year, best team all season long is going to be the state champion.
for sure. Yeah, and I think I've thought about this before I even wrote down notes, but I think the 3-game series should be in the semifinal of the state championship and the final of the state championship. But the reason I think they didn't do this is because like the travel.
Yep.
It's in Fort Myers.
Yep.
You're not gonna spread that out into 4 days
Hmm.
because like travel fees. I mean, we're in high school. Parents are working. You know, money's sometimes an issue,
Yeah.
but staying in a hotel for 4 days, traveling down. These teams. I mean, Jacksonville to Fort Myers is like 5 hours.
I know.
Tallahassee to Fort Myers. I don't know the correct, but like six or seven. Um,
Just imagine though, like the scenes behind. You got 2 top teams going at it, 3 games in a row. It would be sick to see, but it's hard to make happen.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's awesome that they did this in regionals. Like Trinity last year, we played. Who did we play? Trinity Catholic. They're from Pensacola.
Hmm.
They would they would have to spend a lot of travel costs
Yeah.
if we did that last year. And just more opinion on that from me, like you're gonna have to have a big pitching staff. You're gonna have to have a deep pitching staff. Like, you just mentioned Trinity earlier. I mean, they have those guys
Yeah.
to go in the 3-game series.
Which I think that's what we're talking about. Just like the best team is really going to show out in the regionals now that they got 3 games. They got an extra chance, even if they do mess up, that they should come out.
Yeah, you mentioned messed up. I mean, it's baseball. The 1 game,
Yeah.
you're gonna mess up.
Yep. And
It,
I mean, look at postseason baseball in MLB.
Yep.
That's why they don't play one game anymore. Even in the wild card, they play three because one game could determine the whole season. In baseball, any team can win any day.
For sure. One day you go 0 for 3, and the next day you go 3 for 3.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Tough
But
sport.
anyways, we're gonna go on a break, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking a little bit about NIL and the NIL in high school that's now, and talk a little about NIL in college and what we think about it. But we'll be back. It'll be about 3 or 5 minutes, but we'll be back. If you guys are wanting to play at the next level, or even go to another school, North Florida showcases the design for high school, junior college, and transfer portal baseball players who want to showcase their skills in front of college coaches. These events also provide the latest metrics, including batting exit velocity, throwing velocity, 60-yard dash times, and more. They're dedicated to helping players become prospective student athletes at the next level. Make sure you guys go check them out on Instagram and X. North Florida Showcases. Alright, we're back. As you know, we're going to talk a little about NIL. As you know, this is a new rule. I mean, we went on a break talking about we're going to talk about NIL. This is a new FHSAA rule. It was passed in Florida for high school they can sign for NIL for brands and stuff like that. What are kind of your thoughts on NIL in high school? Like, what do you think about it? Because it was nothing like this. I mean, when you were in high school, it wasn't even really a talk. I mean, it just kind of got into college when you were graduating. What are your thoughts of it now in high school?
I mean, I think it's a great idea for high school kids to be able to profitize money. I'm just concerned on what level it can reach, like the level we see in college, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But if I see NIL and players are allowed to make money or allowed to run businesses or whatever, now they're allowed to profit off of their name, image, or likeness. I think it's a great thing. Then when you get to the side of it as now you might have certain coaches who are bigger names. They might have guys, okay, on the side they might say, I have like connections. They're allowed to reach out to these big names. And you could see it if it gets to the level where it's like that how it is in college, I don't see how it helps the sport at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of my thoughts. I don't really know. I kind of go back and forth. That's a good thing. It's a bad thing. It kind of can just ruin you if you're a high school player making a lot of money. You want to be cocky. You have all this money in the world, more money than your teachers, your coaches. You kind of get that ego, and I think that could kind of ruin it. Like I've already made it, type of mindset, and stop working, stop. They're already committed. The guys that are pretty much have NIL, and I feel like it could kind of just change your ego to stop working because your ego is I already made it. I'm making money.
Yeah, and I think you can already see that a little bit in college. Like a lot of these names, you could say these like 5-star commits coming out of high school they're like praised almost in the sports world, and they're getting these contracts thrown at them. I think you can see a lot of them throw their lives away when they mess up and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they do have a lot of this money they're able to buy a car or something, or they're able to buy chains or whatever it is that they're buying. They're buying homes.
Yeah.
It can change your life a lot.
But also a part of me is like it's good for the company that wants to do it. I mean, they're
Hmm.
promoting their brand for other people to buy it.
Hmm.
And I mean, a part of me is like, you know, companies should give them apparel, give
Hmm.
them accessories, to promote the stuff. I don't know about the whole money thing. Like we said, they're making more money than coaches.
Yeah.
Like I know some of my former teammates, some of my players that are going to be making a lot of money and have been making these past few months are making
Yeah.
money. So I don't know.
It's definitely interesting to see how it's gonna affect the future
Yeah,
of.
I mean, recruiting. FHSAA is the big thing on recruiting.
Yep.
Like, you can get in some big trouble for recruiting. So I don't know their thoughts on like passing this because this can definitely bring in a
I
lot of
I
recruiting.
100%. There's someone out there who's
It's
already.
probably going on.
Yeah, it's has to be. It has to be. And then this is only. I don't know. I might be wrong here, but this is only in Florida right now, or is it
No, it's in other states. It just
other
got passed in Florida.
other states too? So I mean, definitely if it's been going on in other states, there's coaches out there throwing out money for players,
Yeah.
which is probably something that's been happening anyways, but is now just a little more obvious maybe.
Yeah, some things like for me, it kind of helps me out a little bit because I'll just say a little story. Last season, uh, I didn't have a registered business. Now my business is registered,
Yeah.
and I had companies wanting to sponsor me, wanted me to send money, stuff like that, and I couldn't take it just because I am a player. It was kind of like NIL,
Mhm.
as you could say, but it was my business. It just wasn't registered. So I did register it, and then NIL got passed.
Yeah,
So
that's the great thing about it is
yeah,
these cases, and then even kids who are like viral on social medias or have YouTube channels, like they should be able to make
I
money
agree.
off their stuff just like every other influencer you're seeing does. It's just the point. I think it will if it hasn't already, which I think it's so new that maybe this year there's not a big
Yeah,
change you see in
I
Florida,
agree.
but in the next couple of years, I think you're really
Huge
gonna
change.
there's gonna be a story come out of some coach.
Getting fired,
Yeah,
all
play.
that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's dig into it a little about college. I mean, this has been a talk for a while.
Hmm.
College things, people saying it's ruined the game. I believe it's kind of ruined
Hundred
college a
percent
little bit.
agree.
Just tell me a little bit about your thoughts on NIL in college.
I like like we said, it's good and it's bad. Kids how are now, or not kids, they're adults by the time they go to college, but they're now able to like put forth stuff in their life. They're able to have money to put down a down payment on a home or get something for their mom or dad that really impact their life. But you also see these stories of I feel like there's a lot more drama around the scene now. I feel like there's a lot more kids going to like jail, even like driving recklessly and stuff. I think that's just because they're able to buy these super nice, super fast
Yep.
cars. And in the sport of the game, you're having college football players transfer from rivalry schools. For instance, Texas tight end just transferred to Texas A&M.
Mhm.
Like I feel like in the early 2000s, 2010s, you're not going to see that because like the rivalry's still there, but now it's so money influenced.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I believe it's ruined the game.
Hmm.
Just like most people can say that. There's definitely a lot of recruiting involved.
Hmm.
I mean, this NIL now leads into the transfer portal.
Yep.
Like, hey, I can make more money if I transfer over here, even if this team isn't as good as the last team I was on.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
like Ohio State, they just won the national
There's like,
championship.
yeah,
They paid 20 million for their roster. If you like added up all their the total cost for their players, $20 million, and they just. But it, like you said, it paid off. They won the national championship, so it's hard to argue that. I mean, schools are going to do it. They're going to want to upgrade their teams. It's just the
you know,
sport
I'm
itself.
I'm gonna make a prediction. Every top five NFL college playoff in the next 5 years or so on is gonna be different teams
You think
because the
so?
transfer portal.
You think?
Yeah, if they get money, they buy some, not buy, but get some more guys because of
Yeah.
NIL. It's gonna flip.
You
It's
say
gonna
you don't
flip.
think Ohio State will be there next year?
I don't know.
It's hard to
I don't
say.
think they'll be the best team
It's
though.
hard to say.
It
They
is.
weren't the best team coming into the playoff. You would argue though. They weren't
That's
even in
true.
the top four, but
I
they
don't
won
know.
it.
I think you're gonna see some teams come up that weren't that good the year before, 2 years or
Yeah.
3 years before.
It's it's gonna be sports world is changing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know a lot of older people they hate this stuff, and like a lot of the younger people have been pushing forward for this, but it's definitely interesting. And oh, we could talk about Carson Beck. I know
Yeah.
NIL, just that side of it. Like he's getting paid like what is it, $4 million now to go play Miami. He was going to go to the draft.
Yep. And he already declared for the
Yeah,
draft.
has a not a great year at Georgia. Probably hears that his draft stock is declining a little bit, and pops his head in the portal to see how much money can I make, where can I go, who's going to
A
pay me.
lot.
And now Miami's paying him, and he's making more than like
Some NFL players.
a lot of them. A lot of them that are just getting signed and stuff, they're making like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he's making millions.
It's crazy. I don't know. I think there should be a change in that. I mean,
So what would you change about it?
how much money you can make.
Yeah, I think there should be like some sort of salary cap like you see in sports, where I mean you don't really see it in baseball as much because of the you see the Dodgers spending whatever
Yeah,
they're spending,
that's true.
but in
But this is college.
but
This is way different.
but in football, like yeah, they teams can only spend a certain amount of money, so there should be some sort of cap to where it makes it somewhat fair, or you're just gonna see loaded teams year after year, and you're gonna have the smaller Division 1 teams, the non-Power 5 teams. I just find it hard for them to compete now,
Yeah.
especially.
I don't know. After people talking about the last few years NIL in college, I don't know why they would bring it in high school. Maybe they just want people to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like we said, there's good and bad
There's
to
good,
it.
bad into it. That's in everything you do, though.
Yeah, just gotta weigh what's the cost versus the benefits, and
Yeah.
I guess there's no way to tell until it happens.
All right. Let's talk a little about big thing in Jacksonville, big sports thing in Jacksonville. Let's talk a little about the Jaguars.
The Jaguars, man, I could go and on about the Jaguars.
The
My heart and soul of
Jaguars.
football.
Every year we're like, oh, this is the year. This is the year.
Supposedly the best team according
Best
to
team.
Shad Khan, but
Talk a little about the Jaguars. What do you think? What are some good things Shad Khan has done this past few weeks, past month? What do you think about the season? And did you really think this was the best team in Jaguars history?
I'm gonna say no.
Like before the season, did you
Before the
think so?
season, I mean, I 100% thought they were making the playoffs.
Yeah.
You add players on both sides of the ball. You were a playoff team last year. I think they won like the last like 6 or 7 games of last season to even make the playoffs. So
Yeah.
you're gonna think they're coming in hot, and then they just it's
Just
terrible.
went
It's
downhill.
awful. Especially then Trevor gets hurt. You have no hope for the season. But Shad Khan, I know a lot of people say bad things about him, but I mean I kind of like him. Like
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to bring life to the Jacksonville football team. I know that there's a lot of people in the staff and coaching that need to get moved, and
Mhm.
hopefully we will see that soon. And then just like the things he does with like the amphitheater outside, or the Daily Center
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
called, and then he's wanted us to renovate that whole area. They're adding to the stadium, so I mean the fans of Jacksonville should be excited. I think games are going to be more fun coming up.
Few
Just
years,
yeah,
4 or 5 years from
just
now, the new stadium deal. What do you think that brings to Jacksonville? You're gonna have that. Shad Khan is building like a little shopping center, a little
yeah.
hotel thing. What do you think that brings to Jacksonville, and how are people gonna see Jacksonville?
I'm hoping it brings some more players. I'm hoping that people want to come here in the off season when they're signed, but
Yeah.
I think it just adds a bit of fun to the going to the games now. Tailgating, you got a little bit more to do. It should be. I mean, I want to go.
Yeah.
Whenever it's built, I'm gonna be there. So well, should be fun. What about you?
I think it's gonna bring a lot. It's gonna bring a lot more people to come visit, even in the off season, or even
Mhm.
just to come see one game for a weekend. Just come see the Jaguars, look at the new stadium.
Mhm.
If you look at pictures of this new stadium, the thing is pretty sick.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't even know how to describe it. It just looks like a freaking screen all the way around the whole stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. But just to talk a little about last season for the Jaguars, I think it was pretty cool to see Mac Jones play.
Yeah, he didn't
From
play too bad.
Jacksonville, from Bowles, I think it was pretty cool to see him have fun out there on the field. Even though he had a really good rookie season
Yeah.
over at the Patriots, and then
Went downhill.
went downhill from there.
But I
I'm not
mean,
sure what happened, but
yeah, he's just he didn't play too bad. It's just he's not the guy that you want as the franchise
yeah,
quarterback.
I agree. All right, here's a money question right here that's been going around. Is Trevor Lawrence the dude? What do you think about Trevor?
No. I think he's the dude, but money wise, I don't think he should be a top paid quarterback in the league. I just don't think he's shown it. Do I think he has the chance? Of course, but it's just hard to look at him and the numbers he's put up and say that should be paid like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Because Joe Burrow is putting up MVP type numbers on a terrible Bengals team and making them look competitive.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence, if the defense doesn't play well, the Jags are going to get blown out. It's not. We have to have both sides of the ball. It's not like our offense is next step above half the teams.
I agree. I've never really been a Trevor Lawrence fan.
Oh,
I mean,
come on.
He's good, yeah, but I think he peaked in college. I mean, look at his college stats. That's why he got drafted 1 overall to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I think he can be good.
He's got the
but
arm.
What, has he been in the league for 4 or 5 years now?
I think this will be. So he had his rookie year with Urban Meyer. Then
Doug.
comes Doug. So Doug's been here 2 years now.
Doug again.
Yeah. So this will be his 4th year coming up.
Okay, he's had 3 years.
First year, you can throw that away. We had a coach who was
Second year,
who was kicking players and going to the bars and stuff.
Yeah. We don't like to talk about that as a Jags fan.
No.
Year 2, he did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the second half of the year, he balled out. I mean, that's what people were talking about his contract was, and then this past season right here. Well, I think he
had 2 more years after that.
Yeah, because
he got hurt last season. He got hurt
at the end of the year, and that kind of screwed the season up. And now he's hurt again. So I mean, we paid him the contract, and he's played what 2 full seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has potential. His long ball is his best. I mean, he throws that ball downfield. I mean, it's kind of beautiful to watch when it is caught.
Yeah, it is.
But his passes, short passes.
He's got to work on the touch a little bit. I think.
I mean, overthrows them most of the time.
That's where I think people see the problem is he doesn't have the touch or the feel that Mahomes or an Allen does. Or
I look at freaking what's his name, Jaden
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean, this was rookie season.
He's going off.
Was he going to NFC
championship game?
Mm-hmm. You look at him; he's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is exciting. That's what a lot of people. I think a lot of people also have the problem with Trevor is he's not like maybe the exciting quarterbacks that you're seeing coming out, like the change of football, the dual threat quarterbacks. He's the stand in the pocket. What I mean, he's like what 6'4". He's a tall guy. Yeah.
I mean, as a Jags fan, watching Washington play, watching Jaden Daniel plays, kind of makes you mad because you thought Trevor was going to be that guy.
Yeah.
First season was kind of like a bust. That didn't even count as his rookie season. I mean, we had that coach. Everyone knows about his past. The second year, playoffs, he did do good. And then that third year, I mean, he just battled injury after injury after injury. He tried to come back, got another injury. Mm-hmm. And then this past year, he went down with an injury. He was kind of in and out with Mac Jones from injuries, and then he came back again and got in a bigger injury for Mac Jones to finish out the season.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Big hit.
I think people were doubting Trevor.
I think too. I think that the Jags won't have super high expectations looking forward. I mean, the Texans are probably going to be the division favorite again.
Yep. C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Goat.
I don't know about that.
Goat.
He hasn't played too well this past year.
That's true.
Sophomore slump, some would say. But I mean, they went to the playoffs, won a playoff game, so can't be mad at them.
All right, hear me out. If you weren't a Jags fan, if Jags wasn't a thing, who would be your favorite team?
Ooh, that is tough. I would say just because of my family's there, I root for the Steelers. I don't know if I'd say I like them. Like I don't like. Oh, well, let's go Steelers. I'm excited to watch the Steelers play, but I root for them when like they're in the playoffs. Like I wanted them to beat Baltimore the other week.
Yeah.
The first playoff week.
I mean, I'd probably say the Lions.
Lions.
It might be a little bandwagon-ish, but I mean,
Dan
Dan Campbell, good coach.
He's a
great guy.
Good guy, yeah.
They got some good players.
Can't hate on him.
Yeah, well,
he's got passion. Something that's missing, maybe you would say, from all this NIL stuff is the passion in the game.
Yep.
People wanting just to go out and play to earn that money. They're already doing it, so what's the need to like have that drive anymore?
Yep. All right, I think Brady Harris is about here, so we'll be going on a break, and then we'll be joined in. Me and Brady Harris going a little bit over his season last year, the injury he went through. We'll talk a little about what he did in the summer, what his summer looked like, and then we'll talk about what Trinity's looking like and how practices have been looking like. We're excited. Appreciate you guys for joining us.
Yeah, it's been
fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fun season. Like we said in the beginning, we're going to have Worst Home Game of the Week. I'm thinking about, putting a poll out on Instagram or Twitter
Good idea.
have you guys vote of who's the game of the week. We'll
Yeah.
put like 3 or 4 out, and Gage will be out at some games. If he doesn't have work that day, I think he's free. Was it Monday?
I should be free. I should be able to make it to all the games.
All right. So we'll just have to figure that out. We want to get out to the game of the week games, but if you can't, we'll pick another game that week. Make sure you guys are subscribed and all that good stuff. But we're gonna go on a break and be joined in with Brady Harris. If you guys are wanting to play at the next level or even go to another school, North Florida showcases the design for high school, junior college, and transfer portal baseball players who want to showcase their skills in front of college coaches. These events also provide the latest metrics including batting exit velocity, throwing velocity, 60-yard dash times, and more. They're dedicated to helping players become prospective student athletes at the next level. Make sure you guys go check them out on Instagram and X. North Florida Showcases. All right, I'm joined in here with 2026 Florida commit Brady Harris out of Trinity Christian Academy. We're going to go over a little bit about NIL, how's it affected him a little bit. We'll talk about how Trinity's looking like this year. We'll talk about the injury he had last year and how he came back from it for the end of the season to the playoffs. We'll talk about what he did in the summer, what events he went to, and stuff like that. Yeah, here he is. Brady, how you doing, bro?
Good, how are you? Appreciate
Pretty
you.
solid. Yeah, man. Funny thing is, my first podcast I ever did was with you, and now my first show is now with you. Talk about that first podcast. We probably started at 7 o'clock and ended at 9.
Yeah.
Probably redid it about 10 times.
Yeah.
The first time we went through it, everything was great, and then I went to rewatch it, and I didn't like how I was moving around as I was watching questions. Just talk about that. I think it was almost 2 years ago now.
Yep. He came to me with the idea that he wanted to start a podcast, and I was like, yeah, I fully supported. So we did it. We were running with it, and it was tough because we couldn't stay focused or we couldn't stop laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
But we ended up doing it, and it turned out great.
For sure. All right, let's talk about the injury you had last year, first season of the year. Tell us about that injury. Tell us about that game. How you came back. What kind of physical therapy you went through. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so the injury was literally the first game of the year. It couldn't be any more unfortunate than that. It was like a weird. The field had like really weird dimensions, and I play center field, so the left field was actually like felt like it was deeper than center field. So this guy like hit like a jam shot. It looked like he was jammed from like my angle, and then it was over my head, and I went back to run and get it, and I was looking at the ball like this, and it just fence completely blindsided me. It was rough. I face first into the fence, and my foot like pressed up against the fence. From what we think what happened, it's like hard to remember, but just like completely screwed up my ankle, and I tried to like stand up and walk it off, and I just like collapsed and fell to the ground. And I was like, oh boy, this thing's screwed.
But then that did happen, and you're up the next inning.
Yeah,
I actually got a hit. It was
yeah.
probably would have been a double or close to a triple, but
Yeah.
he was limping down the first base.
Yeah, I was upset. I was like mad, and it was like I was like a little bit angry from what happened. I had a bunch of adrenaline, so I told my coach like I have to hit. I have to get one more at bat, and I was able to get a single. But I went through a lot of physical therapy for that. I missed. You played 25 regular season games. I missed probably 14 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe? Like just straight up like almost half of them. So that was terrible. I was in physical therapy every single day because of that. So that was a long process, and it was really frustrating. And I was able to come back from that and just DH. And like if I hit a ball in the outfield, I basically had to just like make it a single, like no matter what, even if it was like a guaranteed double or triple. And then yeah, I was if I were able to hit like an extra base hit, it'd have to be like absolutely perfect placement. Other than that, I just have to settle with a single. So it's basically like a home run or a single for the rest of the season until I got to playoffs. And playoffs, it started feeling better. So
Yeah,
it was rough.
sweet. I think your first game back was that Buchholz game. That was spring break, so
Yeah.
from February to all
Yeah.
the way to April, you
Yeah.
were out.
Yeah.
Was it hard to come back?
Yeah, it was
This
tough.
to see the live pitching and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Was it hard to come back from that?
Yeah, it was tough. I had to wear this ankle brace for most of it, and that was like extremely uncomfortable. It felt like I was like running with like a straight leg. I couldn't like extend my leg, is what it felt like for me. So I ended up just taking that brace off and just winging it and going through it and like telling myself like if there's a little bit of pain, it's not worth um missing it and like messing it up even more. So I had to like balance like if I wanted to play through it or like you know miss some games with it. But it ended up working out fine, and now it's better. So that's all good.
Sweet. All right, tell me a little bit about that team last year. We went all the way to Final Four. Had a little fluke in the last couple innings. Tell me about that team. All those bus rides we went on. We went to Cary, North Carolina. We went to LaGrange. Talk about those trips and stuff like that. Talk about that team and how you guys all were together last year.
Yeah, that team was special. We had a bunch of guys on it. We had a good mixture of like senior leaders, and we had like a good another mix of young guys that were also really talented. Like you said, we went on a lot of big trips, and we were really successful with it too, and we made it super far. We ended up getting in a groove. Like I felt like we never lost.
Yeah.
We went on like one bad week and we lost 3 games, and then after
Mhm.
that it was just straight easy wins for us. Like we caught in a groove. The team was meshed together really well, and we ended up in the state semifinal game. We had all the momentum the whole game. That game was going great, and we
Yeah.
had like kind of like an accident happen, and just like a normal baseball play, normal baseball mistake, and that kind of basically ruined it for us.
Yeah,
But
that kind of takes me to the next topic here. You can see on the screen me and Gage talked about the 3-game series, the new rule that came
yeah,
up. The 3-game series in regional now. There's one back to back, and then you'll have a break, and then you have the third game if it's possible. But after that, on that third day, it's not just going to be a break; it's going to be a
yeah,
practice. Tell me about that 3-game series. Your thoughts on it, and how it's going to affect some teams.
yeah. I think I'm super excited for it, obviously, because selfishly, I mean, us as a team, we have a great staff. So I mean, we can really like when you play one on one in like a state semi game, it kind of like anything could happen. You really don't know, but like
Mhm.
when you have a really good pitching staff going into a 3 game series, you're really confident
For sure.
because it's like our 3 guys or however many guys we have on our staff that's like amazing pitchers. I know that I got all my confidence in them, so I feel like that's a really big help for us. And I know other teams it'll help them, and then some it'll also hurt them because of the depth wise. That can be tough, but I feel like it's more of a measure of talent now that it's a 3 game series, so I'm excited
Yeah,
about that.
for sure. All right. Let's talk a little about this year. What's the team looking like? How the practice has been? Gage put out the rankings earlier in the show. You got Merrick Beamish coming back from that labrum injury. You got Parker Lau coming in from IMG. You got Chris Reale coming in from Fleming. Kind of talk a little bit about that team and how's practice been going.
Yeah, practice has been good. We've had some bad weather, so we've had to be like indoor for a lot of it, and we're also rebuilding our fence, so that's been kind of tough. But we've been dealing with what we have, so that's been going good. And we have new players on the team, like you said, Parker Lau, Chris, and then we got Merrick coming back.
Mhm.
Merrick was on the team the whole year last year, but he wasn't able to play because of his shoulder.
Yeah.
But so I'm excited about him coming back. He's been looking really good. Parker, Chris, they were. It felt like they've been on the team for like forever as soon as they came back. So that's been good. They're both really talented guys, and the team's just looking overall really good. We
Awesome.
played the other day in an inter squad or a scrimmage, whatever you want to call it, and looking good. Our pitchers are a little bit ahead of our hitters right now
Sweet.
because that's kind of like how everything starts off. But once everything gets kicking and we're able to kind of hit on the field again because of our fence, that'll be good.
Sweet. All right. What is your favorite memory at Trinity Christian? I think mine from you was probably I think it was I was a freshman, so 2 years ago against Snyder in some playoff game,
Yeah.
you hit that home run, ended the game. What is your favorite memory of yourself in the Trinity Christian uniform?
That's mine too,
Is
for
it?
sure. The Snyder home run. Um we were down 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. 4-1. I don't even know what it was, but we there was multiple dudes on base, and it was the last inning, and it came down to it, and we were about to lose, and it was a playoff game, so it was obviously huge, and it was walk off home run.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was it. Can't be any more big than that. A big playoff walk off home run like that, and how far it was hit, and like at that age, everything about it was just amazing. So I always think about that thing
For
all
sure.
the time. That stays in my brain a lot.
I think another one of you was, in the Final Four game last year.
Yeah.
You led off, right?
Hmm.
So he led off the game. Was it first pitch? You hit a bomb to left
Yeah.
field, and that's not a regular field. That's a
Yeah.
minor league field,
Yeah.
so that's a real big boy field.
Yeah.
Talk about that moment. What that meant to you, what that meant to the team in that moment.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where you don't even remember it.
Yeah.
It was so special. I blacked out around the bases. The guy, we had a scouting report on the guy, like he was really good.
Yeah.
He throws mid to upper 90s is from what our coach was telling us. So we prepared for that all week, and we obviously knew the challenge ahead of us was pretty tough. But once we came out and faced him, it was I think it was the second or third pitch I saw in the at bat, and he started me off with a slider away. I took it, and then he blew me up with a heater, and I put a really bad swing on it. And then he came back with another fastball, and I hit it. I hit a bomb to left field, and it was like it was a surreal feeling, because just to know like all the work we put into to get to that point in the state semis, and like just to know that like that put us another step forward to maybe coming closer to the goal. That felt great. So I mean, us as a team, we love that memory, and I love that memory as well.
Sweet. All right, talk about Coach Murphy. He's been your coach in probably about, what was it, 9U, 11U. Talk about Coach Murphy and your relationship with him and how he has helped you along the way.
Yeah, Coach Murph has been coaching me since, like you said, I mean, it's been like 6 years now or something like
Yeah.
that. So it's obviously amazing to have him by my side. Murph has been there through like thick and thin. He's seen me grow as a player and as a person like nobody else has. I started off with him, and I wasn't anything really special. And then when I continued to trust him and work with him, and he continued to trust in me, we both kind of grew together. And as you know, Murph is a great coach.
Yeah.
You played for him for a long time too, just the same ages as me. So I know I'll forever be thankful for Coach Murphy and what he's done for me because of how good of a person and a coach he is. He'll always be one of my mentors and someone I look up to.
For sure. All right, Coach Murphy had those 2 goals last year. I'm sure you guys have talked about your goals this year for a team. It's never to win a state championship. What
Yeah.
has Coach Murphy said to you guys? What are your goals for the team?
Yeah, his is to be. We kind of this year we did it a little bit different. We usually come up with like 2 goals like that, and this year we all wrote on a whiteboard like what we want to do as players and like how we want to be represented as a team. And some words we came up with this year were grit, integrity, um, loyalty, stuff like that. Like just common words that like we all kind of agreed on with the whiteboard. I'm obviously not very like polished on them. I don't really remember them, to be honest with you. But we have a set group of words that we kind of try to focus this year, and we've been sticking to pretty well.
Yeah,
at our practices.
you got a pretty tough schedule coming up
Yeah.
here in the spring. What do you think is going to be the toughest game? What's going to be the best game? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we have a really tough schedule this year, probably the toughest one we've ever had
Yeah.
as a program. Um, I'm looking forward to Jesuit because we go there, and we'll play against guys that we know. We all know people at Jesuit,
Uh-huh.
and Wilson Anderson is on our travel ball team.
Yep.
So I'm super excited about that. And we go to Cary again, so we'll
Sweet.
play against teams like Corona, like all those big teams
Yeah.
there. We play
IMG.
IMG.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be great. That's gonna be our preseason as well. We'll play there. I'm not sure if we play them there at all, but we'll play in the South Walton tournament.
Yeah.
I think we'll run into Lincoln, with Lucas over
Yeah,
there. So that'd be really big. And then I think I'm missing one. Jesuit,
Stoneman, do you guys
IMG.
play Stoneman Douglas?
I don't think so.
Um,
But we have a really tough schedule
Yeah.
overall. I mean, we're really prepared for it, and we're really excited because of I don't know about you, but like a lot of us, we play up to our competition.
Yeah.
Like I think you know that from the past. Like I feel like we play better against better teams,
yeah,
and it's more fun overall. I enjoy baseball that way, so I'm super excited.
for sure. All right, let's take a little step back a little bit. How was summer like for you? You know, coming off that injury, coming off, the playoff games for Trinity. What did you do in the summer? How was the summer for you?
Yeah, the summer was good. It was just action packed with baseball.
Yeah.
I'd say my favorite part of it was getting the opportunity to play up
Mhm.
for the Team USA.
Sweet.
Went out to trials for 18U. Um, and going into that, like the odds are pretty slim because
Yeah.
you're a young kid there compared to everyone else. And I just really enjoyed the experience there, no matter what, no matter the outcome. Being around those players and being around those coaches and the knowledge I um, absorbed from that event, I think it was amazing. And then I was able to go to other cool events like Perfect Game, All Star, their All Star event. So that was amazing to me. Um, and then I was the PBR All American
Sweet.
in Miami. That was super fun. Um, I did other things like that. I went to Perfect Game National Showcase, so that was fun. Like those big events that Perfect Game and PBR and like USA they all put on is
Yeah,
always an honor to do those. So
for
I'm
sure.
I'm super grateful for the opportunities that they give me and the fun I have there. And then obviously the team as we went on, we had a great summer and we had a lot of fun together. And I always loved learning by those guys and playing by them and playing under Coach Murphy like normal.
Yeah. It's baseball, baseball, baseball. The
Baseball.
last 3 years for you. When you get a free time, what do you do in your free time?
Yeah, I just hang out with my girlfriend and shoot guns.
Sweet. Sweet.
Pretty simple.
All right, tell me a little about NIL. NIL was passed. I think it was in June. Me and Gage talked a little about it. Our thoughts on it. How's NIL affected you, and how's NIL going for you?
NIL is great. I think it's a good thing for a lot of players to kind of have a little bit of an outlet to like show off their hard work off the field.
Yeah.
Baseball in this day and age is not all like hard work in between the lines. You can go kind of work hard on social media and kind of show off and try to build your own brand outside of baseball as well. So I think that works really well for me and other players who work hard on that. So I'm super thankful for that rule being passed and how that's gone for me. That's really been it's treated me well and it's treated my family well in a lot of ways. So I'm super thankful for that and how that has gone.
Yeah. Are you allowed to talk about any companies that sponsor you? If you're not, I'm totally fine with that. Just want to know if you're allowed to. Just go ahead.
Yeah, so I've had some big companies that I'm able to partner with. I partner with Perfect Game
Sweet.
on their half and what they do. We're gonna start here pretty soon. We're gonna start a sunglass partnership with them. It's gonna be called like the Believe sunglasses. So that'll be by me and Perfect Game.
Nice.
I've signed with memorabilia companies. I've signed with food companies. Um, Bats. There's bat companies that are able to just send me gear whenever I want them. Baseball companies like Marucci that send me gear when I want them. And yeah, just basically anything that I'm able to get my hands on, I'm able to now because of NIL. And it's super nice. I'm super fortunate with that. Phone cases by Casetify, like Fiore, the clothing brand, like anything that's literally it's basically anything. I'm fortunate enough to have a great agency by my side, so I work with them and come up with a plan on what I want and what we want to attack, and we're usually able to um, set that up.
Yeah, that's a big switch in what,
Yeah,
7, 8 months?
yeah,
That's a huge switch for you.
yeah. It was before. I know me and you would talk about it all the
Yeah.
time, and like how you're not able to do a lot of things, and like
Mhm.
how that was just able to just change super quick like that. So I was super grateful, and now that at not only college and like pro ball guys are able to make money, now high school guys like me can make money. So I'm super thankful for that.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here a little bit. A few more questions left. If you have any advice you'd give, the young kid watching right now, the young kids at your game watching you play, what advice would you give to them?
Yeah, I'd say just have fun in what you're doing. Um, all this stuff can come to you, and you might still not be happy with the game. Like just because you get a lot of attention and a lot of college offers or literally anything, I don't think that makes you happy. What makes you happy is genuinely like enjoying the game and having fun with your teammates, and that's what I look forward most to doing every single day at the baseball field. and that's just having fun. I genuinely enjoy going out there and putting in the work and doing everything I do. So try to find a way to enjoy the game, and if you don't, then don't try to feel forced to play it.
For sure. You had some goals last year before the season. I think it was about 10 home runs, double it the year before. What are your goals this year? Tell us your goals. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I had that goal last year, and then I obviously got hurt first game of the year, so that didn't really work out.
Yeah.
But I still hit 5, and I played like half the games, so I was
Mhm.
on pace for that. So I'm gonna stick with 10 again. I'll go 10 home runs.
10 home runs.
10 home runs could be my goal this year. State championship, that's always everyone's goal, obviously. And then just be the best teammate possible
For sure.
every day.
Yeah.
Probably my main goal.
Sweet. All right, that's Brady Harris for you. Out of Trinity Christian, people are calling it maybe the dream team, the best team in Jacksonville in a long time. That's Brady Harris. Thank you for joining us today, and good luck this season with Trinity.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. All right, there we go. That's Brady Harris. Join us every Wednesday. We'll be talking about game of the weeks each week for high school baseball. We'll highlight a player of the game. Me and Gage Demi will talk about the game. Maybe have the head coach on for the winning team. Yeah, I'm excited to get this thing up and rolling, and I appreciate you guys watching. And make sure you like and subscribe. Help us out, and thank you guys for watching.